Yeah.
Lies.
Good morning, Chi-Town. We are Windy City Fantasy, back at you again. What a way to start a Sunday morning, boys. It's playoff time.
So sorry.
I am just not here.
Yeah. We're doing good, man. First things first, happy birthday, Steven.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wishing you all the happiness and love and everything. Right. And
a first round win.
Yeah, okay.
That would be my wish.
And one
like
crushing
too much.
Guys, we got a great show for you today. It is our Stardom Sit-'em Day. So join us, jump on in, ask us any questions. This is not the time to get cute and just think too much with your head. You got to go with your guts, right, bro?
Yeah.
We just had a discussion before the start of the show, and we talked it out, and you're going with your gut.
Yeah, I'm following my gut. Snuck into the playoffs. Hopefully, they get a first round upset win today, and had to think whether to start Swift or QT. And then we discussed it, and I think Swift is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys feel any other way, listeners, comment below and tell me what you guys think.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So before we get into that, I just want to bring up a few things. First of all, anybody who's interested and want to know who is in, who is out, what is going on, take a look at the bottom of the ticker right here. You can see all the players that are out. A couple of players that did come up that were questionable, but supposedly starting. One of them was Brandon Cooks. He was dealing with a foot and neck injury. He has now been ruled out for the game against the Bears, which makes Keke QT the number one recipient of Deshaun Watson's passes against the Bears secondary, even though like Fuller is going to be shadowing him, but it's still like last week against the Colts, he caught 8 of 9 passes for 141 yards against a very tough Colts defense. Do I expect him to catch another 8 passes for 140 yards? No, but I mean, realistically, 80 and a touchdown seems more realistically possible. I'm firing off.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing I want to bring up about this, just to like touch on it very quickly, is if you're streaming tight ends, I mean, Texans have those 2 tight ends that they switch off every week, and if they're down to these limited firing power, because I mean, David Johnson's not starting either, so you got Duke Johnson, you got QT, and I mean those tight ends. Just if you're looking for streaming, not saying that those are my tight ends for my lock and loaded. However, I'm just saying you maybe think about that.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes, and definitely Swift. Yeah, speaking of DeAndre Swift, he is active for today's game. He'd had a test result come back inactive, and they retested him right away, and it came back clear.
Yeah, it's been like really weird because he like had the concussion like 2 weeks ago. He was clear from concussion, but then he had like an illness, but they were saying that it wasn't COVID. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if he was just having like headaches or like throwing up, or maybe he was cleared but not fully healthy, but they're saying he's good to go. And
seems more realistically.
Yeah. So hopefully he plays well against, a not a beatable Packers D, but a D that you could definitely get fantasy points on.
Yeah.
And I just want to report this too. 30 minutes ago, Dolphins inactive. I forgot what's Ahmad Rashad? Not Ahmad Rashad. What is that? That's basketball.
Hell yeah. He played football, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Salvin Ahmad from
Dolphins is inactive as of 30 minutes ago.
Same with Myles Gaskin, put on the COVID list. So I would not trust any
and then
Miami running back going forward.
Leonard Fournette is a healthy scratch for the Bucs.
Yes.
And then despite being ill Friday and Saturday, tight end Cameron Brate for the Bucs is starting and is expected to play against the Vikings.
Yes, and then on the Vikings side, Kyle Rudolph is out for this week, and Irv Smith is expected to play, returning from a back injury, but it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Cool.
And then what else did I have here? Kenyon Drake and Zeke are active for today. Drake dealing with a hip injury, and Elliott had a calf injury that he suffered against Baltimore in the Tuesday game, but he's going to play, which is great news because this Bengals defense would really like to have him not play.
Yeah.
But, guys, what games are you really interested in seeing today? Like, what's going to be your go-to? I know it's playoffs, and we're really going to be focused on our players, but what game is going to really excite you?
I'm very interested to see this Arizona Giants game
Okay.
because I think if the Giants win, it's tough. It's tough because like Giants and Washington right now are the two teams I'm looking at in the East to see who makes the playoffs. But the reason why the Giants Arizona game is very interesting to me is because Arizona still wants to be in that playoff hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So both teams are going to come out firing, and I want to see, like, does the Giants step up to the plate and make that move to the playoffs, or does Arizona come back to the way they were playing at the beginning of the season where we all thought they could win the division?
Yeah. And a happy birthday to you too, cuz. This is also my cousin Matt Dawson's birthday today, so everybody wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday.
All right, boys. Actually, I'm really interested in the Pittsburgh Buffalo game. I kind of spaced out there for a second. I don't know if you brought that up. I know you're talking about Cardinals.
Yeah, so
I'm in rare Sunday form,
like basically the
I'm
games
trying to do 10 things at once.
Like there's a couple games where like I'm not really like I don't care about, but there's like Atlanta Chargers don't really care. They're both out. Like the Dallas Cincinnati, whatever. That's just whatever. Denver, Carolina, but the games like Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cleveland, Washington, if they could keep winning, so they could win out the division.
Mm-hmm.
That Indy Las Vegas game, like, is Indy going to bounce back? Is Vegas going to bounce back? Like,
there are so many teams that they require somebody to lose. Like
it's crazy
like
with this third.
So the Titans make the playoffs based on the win percentage for the conference. However, they still need to win, where the Colts need the Titans to lose, which by some strange stroke of weirdness in NFL, because any given Sunday that Tanksville actually upsets the Titans.
Which could happen.
I mean, we saw the Giants beat the Seahawks. We could see the Jets beat the Seahawks. I mean, anything could happen. Seahawks go 0 for 2 against New York teams, Mr. Unlimited, which, if you're very well of Elliot, he is Mr. I don't give a crap about your fantasy team come playoff times neither.
So here's the thing. I'm actually interested in that game because he started not giving a F about my fantasy team about 4, maybe 5 weeks ago. But I do want to see how they rebound as far as what they learned from last week and how they're going to handle the Jets. Because the Jets almost jetted last week. And had it not been for some quarterback play and a Hail Mary full of grace, they would have won their first game.
Absolutely.
So,
by the way, our media watchdog, Elliot, informed me after our Friday podcast, which, guys, if you haven't listened to yet, go to Apple Pod, Spotify, iHeart, Google Cast, and then check out our Thursdays on YouTube as well. But after listening to our show, he informed me that the tight end we were talking about from the 49ers was Vernon Davis.
That's it.
And the other gang from West Side Story was the Sharks.
Oh, geez.
So he had the Jets and the Sharks, not the Greasers. Definitely wasn't the...
you said T-Birds, man.
I said T-Birds because I got my damn movies correct.
So, I guess, like that was a type of person back then. Like you were either like a clean-cut normal boy or you were a greaser, which is the equivalent of a T-bird, I guess. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Fly.
I was a scorpion.
You were some kind of anthropod.
I was
not born.
Ladies. Part of the Pink Ladies.
Oh my goodness.
I was not born, and I was pretty close to that era. So.
All right, and without further ado, Buzz, get into some locked and loaded.
On the fly.
Do you, punk? Damn right, all you punks. You feel lucky? Do you think you got what it takes to pick the right players for this week? Let's see what you got.
All right.
I'm feeling it today, boys.
Cool. Start it off then.
Right.
Yeah.
Wide receiver.
Okay.
All right. This one's coming way out of left field.
Okay.
But given the fact that we're just talking about West Side Story and the Jets, my pick is Rashad Perriman.
Ooh.
Listen, Perriman faces a Seahawks secondary that has given up the most fantasy points. Like literally, they are numero uno for giving up fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. There's no Denzel Mims. Crowder's status is still unknown. We're gonna find out soon before game time. And if he's out, then he ends up the number one option for Darnold to throw to. Well, him and Braxton Berrios. The fantasy junk time at its best, because if Seattle jumps out big and they jump out large, they got to pass. And he's going to catch. Boom.
Yeah, man, but it's the Jets.
Yeah. Listen, you said it yourself from day one. There's fantasy somewhere, fantasy production somewhere. It doesn't matter how bad the team is, it's going to happen.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to come in the weirdest spots that you're never going to expect.
You are 100% correct.
You are.
It's just
When's it going to happen? What's going to happen? Because listen, we can take the weakest game, right?
The weakest game.
Let's say the Chargers Falcons, and we can name off players from that matchup right there, and nobody produces.
Ooh.
But then you look at the toughest matchup for a team. Say, I don't know, off the top of my head, we're looking at, the Steelers Bills would be like the toughest game because both defenses could really show up and they could have outproduced. And then what happens is a player that is not even rostered on anybody's team or somebody else will come out and just dominate.
Yeah.
That's just how it happens.
And then everybody and all the fantasy leagues pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's too late.
Well, I like the segue you did because my guy is Keenan Allen.
Woo!
That's my stardom, Keenan Allen from the Chargers against the Falcons. I mean, if you're looking for a bounce back game for Herbert and that Chargers team, they cannot ask for a better team than the Falcons. The Falcons they're just playing to get done with the season to see where they're picking in the top 5. And I think Herbert's going to bounce back, and with Eckler coming back and he's got a couple games underneath his belt, I think he's going to be back to his regular self, which is going to be more rushing, which is going to be more balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Keenan Allen, he's getting the targets. Like the only thing that saved him the last 2 weeks was that touchdown. He didn't really get the yards, but I feel with the way the Falcons have been this year, Herbert's going to have a day, and I think Allen's going to have a day.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. What about you, Elliot?
I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson against Tampa Bay.
Good call.
You guys just named off 2 of my guys on my team. That's wonderful.
Oh,
beautiful.
You should feel good. Tampa Bay gives up 25 points per game to wide receivers. Tom Brady is going to well, not Tom Brady, Mr. You like that, don't you? I think he's gonna have a pretty decent game against the Tampa Bay defense that seems to be a little bit better against the run than they are the pass. So Justin Jefferson's my guy. Nice.
All right, yeah, and Jay's telling you, Moose, Sweet Hog. I think that's a reference to the movie Grease. I'm not sure. And then, Gallup. Gallup could have a decent game against the Bengals for sure. All right, moving on. Let's jump over to the Quibbies. And my pick is Ryan Tannehill this week. Oh, sniping. Tannehill has a very deliciable matchup against Tanksonville. The Jags
is that a new word?
Dad, you know what you do? YouTube, Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage, and that's where you're going to find out the word deliciable. Most hilarious Chicago thing you're going to find. I kid you not. But anyways, I digress. The Jags have allowed the 4th most fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. Tannehill just threw a season high 389 yards last week, albeit he was playing from behind. But this week he has a great opportunity to exploit the porous Jags D for some big-time fantasy points. Almost said sports points.
I like that, Felton.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Just tie in there, man, because I just took your quarterback, huh?
Yeah, that's why Elliot's going next.
All right. If you guys paid attention to whenever I was on this week, because it was very sparse, I told you that this guy was...
We heard the munching in the background.
Yes, you did. Because I always eat. That's like my thing. This guy is gonna have a fantastic game today. It's sort of a revenge game today. It's sort of a chip on his shoulder. Hey, I called Trubisky last week in a private chat, and I didn't get my flowers for it. So,
Your comeuppance.
yes, well, I'm going to take the flowers for last week, and now I'm going to throw them in the trash because I'm going with Deshaun Watson. Chip on his shoulder. You should have picked me. It's going to be the same situation as last year when Mahomes came to town. And yeah, I know the Bears are pretty good against quarterbacks, but I don't think they're going to be good against this one. Especially since they gave up 400 yards to Matthew Stafford last week.
Yeah.
It is noteworthy that Khalil Mack has been dealing with a shoulder injury all week, and he was questionable to start the game, but he's going to be active. Mm-hmm. And if he was not active, that's a huge loss on the line.
Those defensive players are hurt.
Yeah,
Quinn's hurt. Max hurt.
Yeah, he's one of those players that, like, even if he doesn't do a lot, just him suiting up and taking the field, you have to scheme for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
my guy, I'm gonna go with
your other guy.
Yeah, Kyle Murray.
yeah.
I touched on it again. And I'm looking at this game because I want to see if the Giants keep on winning. They're on a 4-game win streak. If they're gonna try to make the playoffs, win that division, and it's same thing could go with the Cardinals. Like, they want to bounce back to do what they did in the past,
and they still can't bounce back and recover to make
right.
the playoffs.
I mean, technically, they're one of the leaders in the
wild card
hunt, but I mean, like, there's a lot of 6-6 teams. You know, like, you still want to win out the season, and I think that he's going to...
Saying the Bears have a chance.
Yeah, no, technically we do.
They have a 12% chance.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to rush the way he was rushing. He's going to command that offense the way that they want him to and the way he was doing in the past. So I would say start him up today. It's a good start.
It's a great start right there. All right, and bouncing over, we'll run into tight ends and then wrap up with running backs. My tight end, since you were going Chargers way with Keenan Allen, I'm going to go with Hunter Henry.
All right.
As we approach the final weeks of the fantasy season.
No, Jay, do not trust Matty Ice.
One thing still remains a constant, and that the Falcons' defense is still terrible.
Yeah.
Now, they have improved over the last few weeks because if you've looked, their opponents, I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the last few weeks against opposing tight ends, but despite playing a little bit better, they are still ranked the 5th most for allowing points to tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you said this is a bounce back week after a horrible game against New England.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect rebound with Atlanta. So again, if you're worried about starting Henry, but he's still getting his targets. He's still getting 7 targets per game, and he catches the ball.
Yeah, I just think last week was a little fluke. I kind of feel that, like, Patriots, the thing I hate and I love about the Patriots is no matter how bad or good their team is, like, Belichick knows how to scheme for teams. And that's what he did. He ran the ball so much. He kept the Chargers off balance by not running onto the field, which Herbert never got a chance to start off. Whenever he starts off and he keeps going, and that's what I think is going to happen with Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's going to come out firing, and he's just going to stay hot the whole game.
Mm-hmm. All right, what you got?
Oh, you me? I got. I'm going with Mark Andrews from the Ravens.
All right.
He's going up against the Browns. Last time we played the Browns at the beginning of the season, he had 70 yards and 2 TDs. He's been gone for 2 weeks. You could definitely tell that offense was missing him. And I think he's going to come back, and his best buddy, Jackson, is going to be looking for him. And I expect the big win, and I expect the Ravens to win. And I think Andrews is going to lead the way.
This is definitely going to be a hard-fought game because Cleveland's 9-3. 10-3. 9-3?
No, 9-3.
9-3. And Baltimore is 8-4.
7-5.
7-5. So, yeah, a lot of ground needs to be gained from Baltimore to try to keep a foothold, at least in the wild card spot.
Yeah.
And, Cleveland's trying to win out the division because, with the Steelers losing, that helps them. They just need a couple more losses.
Yeah, and I think both teams are great run defense or run teams, and I just feel that Lamar misses that little safety net, that little 8-yard, 10-yard guy, instead of trying to go for the big home runs all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what Mark does. He'll do like an 8-yard curl route and just all day long. Elliot.
Yes. So I also went a scrambling since you hit my guy right on the head.
Yeah, I saw your reaction. That's why I kept talking a little bit, giving you some time.
Oh, I had two guys. Actually, I had three guys because I was thinking if I wanted to run a theme
Oh, okay.
today,
Okay.
and other than wide receiver, because I didn't think of it at the time, and it wouldn't have been good anyway. I am gonna run the theme. So my tight end is Jordan Akins from Houston.
Called it.
Do you guys see the theme here?
Yeah.
I could have went back to the well and took the Hawk again because he has a great matchup also against Green Bay. But I'm F the Bears today because I want to see. I'm hate watching today. I want to see how this goes. GM should good for them. It really looks like they are going to win with the circumstances that have gone on the last couple weeks for Houston.
Yeah.
But the GM should have been fired 2 weeks ago. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan Akins, the Chicago Bears. I had it in my head, and they give up 10.4 points per game to tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying this maybe the whole year. The Bears suck against tight ends. Sucks. The whole NFC North sucks against tight ends. I said that on last Friday's show also. So do with that as you
Very
will.
nice. Love it. Because I believe right now the Bears are give up the third most points to tight ends.
Man, that would have been nice if we beat Detroit last week. Detroit get a nice W here in Houston.
Listen, Montgomery's got another great matchup
Yeah.
right here. Houston gives up.
Is that your boy?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Actually not.
I'm like, wow, what a
Surprisingly.
great segue.
Right, a great segue, but I'm actually going in this route is where I am going with Zeke.
Okay.
It's been a rough season for this guy right here, but I mean, this may be his last fantasy productive day yet as he faces the Bengals run defense that gives up over 100 rushing yards per game, 19.2 fantasy points per game, 2 running backs. The other bright side to this is that the volume hasn't decreased for Zeke yet because he's still getting 20 touches a game. After this game, though, the remainder of the fantasy playoffs, Zeke will face the Niners, the Eagles, and then the G-Men. So that's 3, I wouldn't say very stout run defenses, but they will cause problems. The Niners run defense ain't no joke. We talked about how the Eagles run defense can't put –
That's their only defense.
That's their only defense. And as you could run a little bit on the Giants, this is a division game, and you saw how that last matchup went between the Eagles and the Giants, how tough they were with Miles Sanders. Boston Scott was in at that time. But anyways, it's a division rival opponent. The Cowboys going to be facing them. It's going to be huge. I think this may be to start off your first week of playoffs, and you got Zeke in this nice matchup with the Bengals. It doesn't get any better, especially the last few weeks the way he's been playing.
You want me to go, Elliot, or do you want to go?
You can go.
Okay.
You guys are so nice.
I'm going with Josh Jacobs, running back from the Raiders against the Colts.
Ooh.
The last 4 weeks, the Colts have been the number 5 most, giving up most points to running backs the last 5 weeks. And if the Vegas Raiders want to win, they're going to be giving Josh Jacobs 20-plus carries because whenever he touched the ball, rushed 20-plus and received 5 or more, they have won the game. And I totally see that. I clearly think Gruden knows that this offense runs through him.
Yeah.
And I think you got to ground and pound those Colts to bring that secondary in so then you could just go over the top with Aguilar, with Waller, with Ruggs, and just get, Carr comfortable. And I think Josh Jacobs has a big game today. That's my guy.
Nice.
All right, so I want to continue the theme.
You can't because David Johnson's on COVID.
He's going
Right, and
Oh,
Duke
Montgomery.
Johnson's sons. And I was going to do that. I was thinking, same game. I'll just go with the Bears. He's got a good matchup. Austin Eckler has a fantastic matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm actually going to stay in this division, and I'm going to go with Aaron Jones.
I was going to say that. Yep.
Aaron Jones, Detroit is the worst team against the run, giving up close to 30 points per game to running backs. It's Green Bay. They're leading the division. While Detroit got a win based off the confidence of firing their head coach and GM, as most teams do get that bump. I think it may be a closer game than people realize, but Aaron Jones is going to go off.
Nice. Very nice. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I was debating between Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs today to who to take, because, I mean, I could see Green Bay scoring like 14 to like 20 points like right off the bat, and then it's just going to go out Aaron Jones.
Yeah, it's just going to be run day.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, we got a few minutes left before we end the show. Guys, if you're just tuning in now, if you got some questions you want to hit us up really quick, we can answer it for you. Otherwise, good luck to everybody. But let's get to a little quick Bears talk.
Yep.
What do you guys want to see out of the Bears this week other than a loss that could help them get the W?
I just want to see a W.
Yeah.
I don't care how.
You don't care how ugly or how pretty it is?
Yeah, just get a W, and just for us as a fan. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? If we make the playoffs and don't make the playoffs, like, they're probably all gone or whatever. We're going to definitely lose a lot of people and shake up the thing. But just get a W. Let's just bring a home AW.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Okay, so look, I know I had this huge rant, but I really do love the Bears, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be that angry. I'm looking to see, and
passionate like all us Greeks.
take this with a grain of salt because of the opponent. But I'm looking for continued stability in the run game and the offensive line. The offensive line had a really good game last week in run protection. Pass pro, they weren't all that great. Even though the last play that ended up being the difference in the Detroit game was really just something on the lineman from Detroit, which just made an outstanding play. Like, sometimes it happens. I think Trubisky held the ball a little bit, like a half a second too long, and then you see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what happens there. But
absolutely. I mean, listen, like, with everything that's gone wrong for the Bears and everything that we've talked about, from the line to the quarterback play to the defense getting gassed so early because of so much time of possession on the field. I mean, the one bright side you got to see towards the end of the season is how does the rest of the line play out, and how does Montgomery look at the rest of the season? And after this game against Houston, he still has Minnesota, Jacksonville, and Green Bay.
Yeah.
These are 4 straight weeks of great opportunities against porous run defenses where he should excel. The last 2 weeks, 25 points and 29 fantasy points. He's ran hard. He's still catching the ball.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
No, I was just gonna say, and in Minnesota, the first game, he didn't really get a chance to show or to play to the full potential that that he has, because he was out of the game early in Minnesota. So he's going to be charged up for that game. Yeah. I just another thing that I want to see is, besides, so we know now that Cordell Patterson is a running back, and if you script the right plays for him, he could be very effective. I would like to see continued stability, like I said, in the offensive line. I want to see continued continuity. Ooh, big words today. In the play calling. I want to see more Darnell Mooney. And I want to see more Cole Kmet, because they're starting to work him into the system and use him other than blocking. I mean, he scored the touchdown last week. He's getting more of a role in the offense, which probably should have happened a couple weeks ago. But tight ends in their first, tight ends in their first year is kind of hard. You know what I mean? I understand, but now they're using him a lot more. So look, we know, like I said, there's a 12% chance that they're going to make the playoffs. So take that 88% chance and use that to start developing these players.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up right now. Like, I kind of won't be upset if the Bears are kind of like, hey, I want to see like those 2 rookie linemen we have, throw them into the fire. like if one of our starting offensive linemen gives up, let's say 2 sacks or like one play, he's getting beat every play, sit him.
Because both rookies are tackles, right?
What? No, well, they're moving them around because of all the injuries.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
mix and
we'll
match.
bring them in, yeah,
Right.
and just bring them in and be like, all right, get some playing. Like, if you really want to develop something and, okay, the season's going down the chute, put those guys in, get them the experience, get them the playing time, because that's what everybody says. Oh, you can't play because you need experience, because you need to see the field. Well,
listen, it's the same thing when they say, hey, we can't give it to you because you don't have credit. Well, how the hell do you expect me to get credit? Right?
Like, our offensive line can't get any
Right.
So let's see what we have in live game film, that when it comes to the offseason, be like, hey, Leno Jr., like, you gave up like 19 sacks in like 10 games. Like, boom, you're out. But this rookie played 4 games and only gave up like 1 QB hit.
Well, see, here's the thing. If it wasn't for COVID and like some of the injuries that we had on offense this year, we wouldn't have found out that a couple of the guys that we had stashed on the practice on the practice squad were really good linemen.
Yeah.
One of them they used at center for a couple games. So besides those two, and the 2 rookies, like that's what I'm saying. Like, bring those guys in and start working them in and getting them reps. They looked like they were able, minus the first game, because it's jitters and whatever.
Yeah.
The one guy works with Olin Kreutz. Like, 2 of those guys work with Olin Kreutz in the offseason. So, like,
and then I
come
don't
on,
get
dude.
it. Like, they're talking about, like, oh, money and finances. Well, okay, so you drafted, let's say, 5 linemen in the last 2 years. They're all still on rookie contracts, which are 4-year contracts. So then you release our offensive tackles that are straight up garbage, like Massey and
old.
Here. Like,
Yeah.
cut them out of there. Here we have the young bucks
Yeah.
that are still on 2 years. There's your development.
That's
like,
also your cap space as
Right,
well.
exactly.
That's how you manage your cap space.
right. You release these guys, you don't pay them the $15 million for 2 years because he's 34 years old.
Right.
No, man, get that shit out of there. Bring in the rookie that's making 200 mil. Or, I mean, sorry,
No. Hit him with the Matumbo finger.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you have all these guys sitting here that are working with, like, veterans and legends that have worn Bear uniforms. You know that they're getting that, like, mentality of being a Bear, and I'm like, dude, fucking put them onto the field. We're never going to get, like, a Big Cat. We're never going to get,
I miss Big Cat.
Turner,
You never know.
Kreutz. Like, those guys, Garza, like, those guys are special. But once again, we got them through the system and we worked them in.
Yeah. We just didn't pluck them from the free agency.
Right. That's what I feel.
trade.
I feel like a lot of people feel that they could just do that. And it's like, no, man, like, you drafted this guy in the 5th round. Okay, you sat him 1 year. You have to bring him in the next year.
Mhm.
Like, you have to see what you got, because then it's just a waste of space.
It is. It's a waste of roster space.
Right.
It's a waste of cap space. It's just a waste in general. So, but yeah. Little PSA for everybody who watches or listens or catches up later. Like, we don't just strictly deal with fantasy sports. We do love to talk about regular sports as well, primarily Chicago sports. So if fantasy sports ain't your thing,
Yeah, and if anybody's listening out there for soccer, congratulations to the Columbus Crew
yeah,
beating the Seattle, I believe it's something-
Sounders?
Thunders, is that what it is?
Seattle
No,
Sounders.
Sounders.
Sounders, yeah, the 3-0. I
Yeah.
watched that game. Dude, it was nice. It was nice to see somebody from
Yeah.
there.
But we're a well-rounded team here, and right now it's because it's football season, and fantasy football is the biggest thing. Is what we primarily deal with. But baseball season's just around the corner. We got
Mhm.
basketball season going to be starting up.
Yeah,
You know,
man,
we'll
some
get-
interesting signings.
We'll be getting in some Bulls talk, during our off season. Get plenty of.
I think they
content.
started.
Yeah, they had a
December
preseason game
22nd.
on Thursday.
Yep.
December 22nd, I believe, is the start of the season.
Hawks are coming up.
Yeah.
Well, NHL's just trying to figure out like a bubble thing. I think they want to do like a bubble thing.
Mhm.
But they're trying to figure that out. Where they're going to try to keep either the divisions or like the time. Like, these 4 teams are really close to each other, so they're going to be in a bubble.
Right.
I don't know. They're trying to figure something out like that.
Okay. Well, either way, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Again, make sure that you subscribe to us if you like us on Apple Pod, Spotify. Click the link below. YouTube, especially, you'll get notifications right away. These live videos go straight to it. Join the Facebook group page. Email us. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter.
Subscribe to get your
Yep.
fantasy advice along with some jokes along the way.
They may not be always funny, but they amuse us.
Now they're
all
pretty
of
damn
us-
funny.
It'll be funny.
From all of us here at Windy City Fantasy, myself, Moose, Elliot. Happy Week 14 playoffs to y'all.
Yes.
Stay
yes.
frosty, Chi-Town.
Happy Sunday.
Go Bears.
Bears.